Hey everybody, today I'm making a video on the new potential skill of warding in old school RuneScape. This is just a quick understanding of this skill. I'm also going to cover some predictions that I have that if this skill is implemented to the game, what it will do to things like the economy, high-end PVM, and etc. So let's jump right into it. So what is warding? To understand the role of warding, let's identify the gap it's designed to fill. In most scenarios, mage equipment is either bought or dropped by monsters and cannot be created by the player, making magic an exception to the other two sides of the combat triangle. Warding allows players to channel a material called Viz into woven materials and transform them into magical robes and armor. So really the purpose of this skill is to make magical armor craftable. As it's not now, it's all based on monster drops and shops and things in that nature. So this is Jagex's way of approaching making a new skill, and that of being a craftable skill for magical equipment. So we'll go a little more down and look. They show the training methods and the different ways of gaining, which is drawing wards, channeling the Viz into equipment, and dissolving equipment. So if you've ever played Warcraft, this is a lot like enchanting and disenchanting, and really combining the tailoring skill as well to really just make it where they can create magical equipment. So that's just a very quick overview of what the warding skill will realistically look like. Now, there's a lot of pushback coming from the community, even in the Q&A that was done earlier today. There was a lot of people saying no in the Twitch chat, as well as a lot of a backlash on Reddit as well. Now, there are some good posts and there's some good suggestions on Reddit and things like that, but overall, it looks like the community is not wanting this. There are some players that do, some players that don't. And the one thing to keep in mind is that we do run old school on a poll system basis. So this still has to pass the polls. And they even said that in the Q&A today. It has to be able to pass the poll before it would ever be implemented into the game, and they would start to tweak things. The biggest pushback I've seen thus far is around the battle wards. There's a lot to go on with the battle wards. It's kind of adding more content to the game, and this could affect PVM and PvP as well. And it does things in these area buffs, for instance, to aggro nearby mobs. You can pull enemies towards the ward that'll be drawn on the ground. Chance to heal when you're casting magic. Chance to restore prayer. Really, in the scheme of old school RuneScape, this just really isn't something that is part of the game's functionalities or that anybody was really looking for. My personal opinion about the entire skill is I think that breaking down like equipment and armor to get raw materials is pretty cool. Like, I like that idea. I do like the idea of another skill, but I don't like the idea of adding things that are going to change the meta of the game, which is already at a pretty not understandable level. Also, this conjuring is really just complicated summoning. Like, it sounds like summoning just at a little bit of a higher level. And I'm showing you a snippet from the blog post, which I'm going to link the blog post in the description. I also encourage everybody to run over to the official Reddit page so you can kind of gauge what some of our community thinks about this skill, because it doesn't seem like it's popular. There's a lot of people saying they don't want it. There's a lot of people saying that they may want it just with some tweaks. As I stated before, I don't think that we need a new skill. I think the game's still entertaining. I know it's going on 6 years with no new skill, but there's still been a lot of developmental things in gear, and I love the raids. I think that was such a good idea that I don't know if this is the right move. But they're trying to fill a gap that nobody's really complained about, and that is, how is magic gear created? So I understand where they're coming from, but I don't think it's the best move for the game at this time. I know that it has to be voted in, and there's still a lot to go with it, but it doesn't feel fully complete. It feels like there's things that are added to it that just don't make sense in the day-to-day game, and for some reason, it seems like they're really wanting to push it. So overall, my opinion on the entire skill is that it would be nice to have another skill added. I think that, especially another crafting or production skill, and I really do like the way of being able to break down equipment and get raw materials for those, and I think that would be something that would fit into the game. I just don't think that the battle awards are going to fit into the game, and I think there's a lot of tweaking that should be done. And before they even pull it, I feel like these changes need to be made, because if they send it to the board the way that it is right now, I'm pretty certain that it would not pass. But at the end of the day, this is just my opinion, and I would love to know you all's opinion in the comments below. So please leave this video a like if you liked it. Let me know what you think about the skill, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you all, and see you next week.